What is up, everybody? Welcome into this Tuesday bonus edition of Flippin Bats, where for the very first time in our brand new studio, we have This Week in Shohei Ohtani news. This place is incredible. Shohei Ohtani himself this week was incredible. This one is going to be a blast. Let's get to it.
Fly ball onto the track, at the wall, it's gone! Home run!
Turns on a ball, deep right field, and gone!
What a game, what a moment. New studio and a new intro?
I was just going to say, I don't know what I love more, the new intro or new studio or your blue steel face there at the very end, Ben.
That was a glam. That was a glam shot. You remember, I think Napoleon Dynamite, glam shots by Deb? That's what I feel like. I feel like that's what I would have looked like there. I like that.
I'm going to give you Zoolander blue steel. That's what I'm going to go for.
Alex, this place is incredible.
It's insane.
This is awesome.
LED floor, all the lights, our circle lights ahead. There's so much going on. There's so much room for activities.
There's so much. We're just quoting all the movies here. Yes, that's what. Yeah. This is gonna be a fun show. One, Shohei's been going nuts on the field, but also Justin back in Houston this week, making his return back to Houston for the first time, getting his World Series ring.
Yeah, what was that like? Did you talk to him? That had to have been so emotional. Just going back for the first time. I mean, he's getting on the mound tonight, but yesterday, going back, getting the ring, seeing all your former teammates and fans in a place where you won a couple rings and you're so beloved.
I actually didn't think about how emotional that night was going to be for him until after I called him in this studio. He was back in Houston. He had been back in the stadium for 30 minutes, and I was like, hey, call me. And then he calls me, and I'm like, hey, look at this studio. And I didn't think anything of it, and neither did he. And he loved this place, because how could you not? But then after, I was like, oh, he's probably got 1 million people to catch up with, and ended up getting his ring. Dusty Baker walked it out to home plate. The hug was awesome. They played a tribute video that I watched in tears, the majority of it.
Cry?
Yeah, made a couple of appearances in it. I was definitely in tears. I mean, when it just all comes back, they did such a good job with the tribute video, and they started it with his press conference the second he got in there into Houston, landed at the airport in the midst of a hurricane and that whole situation happening in Houston, and then to his first year, the World Series, and then it was just like a timeline of events of his time in Houston.
I got chills.
And it really was emotional because, it was obviously it's that moment and the ring and everything should be all about Justin, but the city of Houston changed the Verlander family forever, all of us. So to watch that tribute video back and see all of that happening was emotional.
Maybe that's what gave the Mets, a bit of motivation to come out and have that insane 11-1 win last night. Yeah. They just absolutely destroyed the Astros.
Max Scherzer dominated. Justin threw really well his last start, and now he throws Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So now they've both thrown back-to-back really good starts. Max finally last night, Justin finally the night before. So now back-to-back, can Justin keep it going? Because this is what the New York Mets have been built on, is Justin and Max at the top end of the rotation.
Basically
and
two
now,
aces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now they're throwing well. So it'll be another emotional night, the night he's starting, and it's been an emotional trip so far back to Houston for sure.
Will he talk to you day of pitching, or do you wait till after?
I don't talk to him before.
Okay.
I talk to him after.
And reminder for me not to text you, or definitely text you once.
You should text him that hamburger gif of the hot dog, the ketchup and mustard shooting out.
I would get WTF. Who is this? Lose my number. What is this?
Lose my number.
I just love
that's such a great lose my number, pal. Yeah. I'm about to hit you with that next time you send it. So it'll be a great night. We'll talk all about that in Thursday's show as well, but I'm sure to be emotional during that as well. But Alex,
Yes.
you know what time it is?
Oh, I've been waiting for this.
For the first time in this brand new studio, it's time for my favorite segment. Mace, hit the lights. This week in Shohei Ohtani news, we're going to talk about him reaching 150 career Major League Baseball homers. Will he win the MVP award? Spoiler, you might like the answer. And the Angels are playing really good baseball right now, thanks in large part to Shohei Ohtani. But Alex, first and foremost, what a week for Shohei Ohtani.
I mean, it's been incredible. He hit 6 home runs in 7 games, now leading the league in home runs, in which we talked about, I think a couple weeks ago, I asked you, do you think by the end of the season, he will lead all of baseball in home runs?
What'd I say?
You said yes. It also helps that a couple of the top guys have had a couple IL stints. Pete Alonso's back, and that's his closest competition right now. But Shohei is looking as locked in as we've ever seen him offensively right now.
Yeah, this is definitely the best I've ever seen him at the plate. He's on another level right now. Reached 150 career homers, but immediately got past that number. He's now at 151 career homers, second all-time for a Japanese-born player, behind only Hideki Matsui, who's at 175. There's a realistic chance that, given this current pace, Shohei, at the end of the year, could end up hitting 50 homers, winning the MVP award, and passing Hideki Matsui, all right around the same time for most home runs by a Japanese-born player, all in the same year.
Yeah, I mean, he's currently on pace right now to hit 52 home runs. Like, just in the month of June, he's had 9 home runs, 6 doubles, 20 RBI. Like, he is on fire.
Yeah, he has 12 homers in his last 19 games. Get this, in the last week.
Yeah.
Also, I'll go week and a day because Monday was very impressive from last week. Monday, 2 homers.
Yeah.
Tuesday, no homer. Wednesday, home run. Thursday, home run. Friday, no home run. Saturday, Sunday, home run. Turn on the TV right now and watch Shohei, because what he's doing is on another planet. That's how good he's been. He also, a lot of those have been opposite field home runs, which I know I've talked about a good bit, but I just can't fathom how impressive it is. The BP that I saw him take during the World Baseball Classic while he was out on the field taking BP, which he doesn't normally do in season, but it basically was just to put on a show for the fans.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what that was for. And I was mesmerized at the amount of power he has. So it should come as no surprise that 2 of the home runs within the last week have been some of the longest home runs to the opposite field we have ever seen from a left-handed batter. In fact, longest Oppo home runs hit this season, the top 3 are all Shohei Ohtani. He truly has power, unlike I've ever seen before, and unlike StatCast has ever seen before.
It really is incredible. And as you mentioned, he hit 150 while we were in San Diego, watching it live. We got a nice little behind-the-scenes video of you live tweeting, just jaw dropped. It's funny to see you.
You got to see it.
Of like Ben in real life, of when Ohtani hits like a milestone or big home run. It was really cute. But also, he became the fastest Angel in franchise history to hit that mark, to hit the 150 mark. He did it in 637 games. And remember, this is including a COVID year, and it's also including him getting Tommy John surgery. Yep. So if you put all those things into perspective, it just makes it that much more impressive.
It's almost... Absolutely. And back to me tweeting it live, as I was hearing you say, it's almost like as a player, when you would get locked in, like at the plate, I never hear, I would get so much trash talk throughout games. You never hear it when you're in the box. It was like when now the equivalent of that is me tweeting a Shohei Ohtani home run. I literally yell out, Shohei hit a homer. I go to my phone, I turn on caps lock, all caps, and I'm just in my own world for however long it takes me. Alex was like waving her hand in my face. Nope.
Like, you still have the shock face on the whole time, though, which is absolutely hilarious to me.
I'm in constant awe for sure. And it's all about the timing, Alex. You got to be right on top of it.
You got to be the first one out.
You got to be. Yep. And that was, it's an art form, if you will.
It's crazy when you really put into perspective everything that he's doing. There was another crazy stat, like the first player in 123 years since the 1900s to lead Major League Baseball in home runs and batting average allowed.
Yeah, his MLB ranks this year. In all of Major League Baseball, every player, He's first in home runs. He's first in RBIs. He's first in slugging percentage. He's first in OPS. And he's first in batting average against on the pitcher's mound. First in all of baseball. This doesn't, if you're looking through social media is like up in a frenzy when he does something cool. But when you look at this, when he does something well, finally people are starting to understand and say, like, how is this? Like, this isn't possible. This isn't right. And the statistic you just mentioned, like first time in 123 years that a player has ever done this in the modern era of baseball. There is no comparison. The only comparison that was ever there was Babe Ruth. And I'm even tired of hearing that comparison.
No, he's in a different league.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's no comparison. And what we're seeing right now, I know we talked about this question the other day, and I think you asked me if his career ended right now, is he in the Hall of Fame? And I've been thinking about that a lot since my answer, because my answer was, yes, in theory, but there's a 10-year, like you have to play for 10 years. I truly believe, I think I did a lot of thinking on this. I think the answer would be yes.
Oh,
I think
you flip-flopped.
Well, there's a rule.
That.
There's a rule in place that doesn't allow it. But I think, again, what we've seen Major League Baseball do is implement a rule just for Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
I think if his career ended right now, I think they'd waive that 10-year rule and allow him to be voted into the Hall of Fame. I really do.
You have to. Yeah. I mean, they've created, as you mentioned, new rules, new stats, new standards for something we've never seen before.
Yeah, the DH rule, when they implement the DH in both leagues, they have to figure out, it's literally the Shohei Ohtani rule. Whenever you have to change the game for somebody in a positive direction, that holds substance, I think, when you talk about all-time career. So I know we're still a handful of years into his career, but he's already changed the baseball in such a way that he'll leave his mark on this game for the rest of time. And that definitely will mean something in the long term. We talked about 151 career homers. He's played in 638 career games, which you mentioned is the fastest Angel to get there, to that mark. He's got 151 homers and 638 games. And in those games, he's pitched, started on the mound in 77 of them, and has a career ERA of 3.02 with 546 strikeouts. Those are elite numbers.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked a lot offensively. That is an elite pitcher. 3.02 with 546 strikeouts and 77 starts on the mound.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what we are seeing. And this week, I think this week, I think I heard him talking about this. I think I heard him say, did you guys hear This Week in Shohei Ohtani News is going to be in a new studio? I really need to do something impressive for them. And man, did he.
Do you know what else is impressive? We were talking about leading the league in categories, but if you take a look at the Angels statistical page, he leads the Angels in almost every single statistical category.
I have them. This is even.
Spin them up.
He leads the team in all of these. Batting average, RBIs, stolen bases, runs scored, slugging percentage, hits, innings pitched, ERA, wins, strikeouts, whip, opponent batting average against. Every single category except for saves.
Because he's not a closer.
Is led by Shohei Ohtani. And might I add to this, the Angels are a good baseball team.
Yes, they are.
They have one of the greatest baseball players of all time on their team who is having a good year, but by his standards, it might be a little lower, but he's having a good baseball season. Shohei Ohtani is leading the team that we'll talk about the Angels in a second. The team that has the 7th best record in baseball is the Shohei Ohtani team.
He's carrying the team.
Quite literally. That's an overused phrase in sports. In sports. I'm like, not no.
In
That's what. No, in this situation, he is quite literally carrying the Angels team.
Oh, 100%. So let me pose this question to you: will Shohei Ohtani be the AL MVP this season?
I mean, yes. The odds The odds also
are crazy right
are
now.
heavily. You never see. I would love to know this. And through any sport, I don't think we have the answer. I would love to have this by next time we do this. I don't even know if this statistic exists. But we are not even halfway through the Major League Baseball season. I would love to know. Do you have the odds right now? Do you know what they are?
I have some odds. So Shohei is between like minus 430 and some are to win, and Aaron Judge is at second at plus 1900.
So I would love to know.
The gap is big.
At this point in any professional sport, right? We're not even halfway through the season. If there has ever been a player this heavily favored to win the most valuable player of the entire league award.
It's overwhelming favorite.
I mean, my gut says probably not, but I don't know the answer for sure there, and I don't know if we can find it. But I do believe he wins the MVP award. I don't think there's any question right now. I think health is the one thing. If he stays healthy all season long, we're going to see him win the MVP award. We're going to see him accrue close to $1 billion this offseason from some team. I'm not going to speculate who, but he's going to make over $500 million. He's going to have multiple MVP awards to his name. The Angels are playing well. We might finally get to see him in the playoffs, but I think we're seeing something right now, an unprecedented level of dominance of any professional sports league. That's what we're seeing from Shohei Ohtani right now.
I agree. And I think all the chips are kind of like falling into place right now, right? He's having a historic run offensively right now. His pitching, it will catch up. We know it will. The Angels are finally playing well. They've won 11 of their last 14 games. As you mentioned, the 7th best record in Major League Baseball. They're second right now in the AL West, also second in the wild card. So they're in a playoff spot right now, which we've been waiting for. Not only this season, but for years. So I'm so happy for my Halos right now.
Can we just go? I'm really enamored by how you pushed your chips in. Was this a? This is like a. What chips are you pushing?
I'm pushing them up.
Potato chips up a hill? What is happening?
Well, I didn't know if you'd be able to see. I didn't want to get my computer. I was trying to get like over my computer.
You did.
Thank you.
Chips are over the computer.
They're flying. My chips are flying.
The Angels are a good baseball team. And I think we talked about this over the weekend. I feel like every time I mention the Angels in any positive category, whether it be the preseason when I listed them as a top 3 off-season team. They had one of the top 3 off-seasons in baseball, in my opinion. And then the word becomes, well, it's the Angels, blah, blah, blah. This week, they're in my top 10 Major League Baseball power rankings for the first time in a long, long time. And then you hear, well, it's the Angels. I'm tired of hearing that. I really am. Are they a perfect, complete team? No, but right now they're the 7th best team in baseball according to their record. As you said, the 2nd best team in the AL West in the standings. They're in a playoff spot if the season ended right now. They have Shohei Ohtani. Nobody else has Shohei Ohtani. They have Mike Trout, who's one of the greatest of all time. They have them hitting back-to-back in the lineup. They have other pieces that are doing really well. They have Jared Walsh, who's now back in the lineup and starting to heat up a little bit, who Jared Walsh is this week's podcast guest, so make sure you listen to Jared Walsh when that comes out. And we talk about Shohei in there as well. So he was a blast to talk to. They just have so many names performing well that I really just get tired of hearing, well, it's the Angels. I get it.
It's tough though because their record, their track record is why everybody feels that. I mean, I was a part of it for 10 years.
I get it.
Broadcast. And I think it's almost like a protection mechanism. Like, well, we've been rooting for them. We want them to be good for so long, and they haven't. But this is their time. If they can go on a run right now, because they're only 5 games out of first place behind Texas. They are a game and a half ahead of Houston, who have lost 5 in a row and are struggling right now. If they can make a strong push up into the All-Star break right now, this could put them in a really great position for the second half of the season.
Well, you remember what happened last year, that their season was going well, and then they hit that historic losing streak, and that was, you don't want to say that was the end of the season, but they went from a playoff spot to like 10 games back out of a wild card spot. So you really just have to, at this point, protect yourself. The season is full of ups and downs, but it can't be full of the lowest down of all time.
True.
Protect the down. Only let yourself lose a few games in a row. It's going to happen. But just keep things going in the direction it is. And I do believe this is a playoff team. I predicted them as a playoff team this year because of all the offseason moves they made. So I get what you're saying, and this isn't what you're saying. You're speaking from a fan's perspective. So spare me with the track record thing. The Diamondbacks, look at their track record. They've been one of the worst teams in baseball for over half a decade. Look at them this year. They're a lot of fun. So I think I get the Angels are different because of all the money that's been spent and all the superstars and Albert Pujols and Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani and Josh Hamilton. Like the names go on for them not being able to get over the hump with really good star-studded players. But I really think this is a complete baseball team that has the capability of getting into the playoffs.
I do too. And one of my favorite series of the season is starting tonight, the Freeway Series. The Angels are facing the Dodgers. You got Kershaw and Reed Detmers tonight, and Ohtani set to pitch tomorrow.
Ohtani pitches on Wednesday. This is always a fun series because it's always packed no matter where it is, usually with a lot of Dodgers fans, even if it's at Angel Stadium.
Yep.
But this is always a blast of a series, and it means this one means a little more. The Angels are playing really well. The Dodgers are not playing well right now, but they're still a good baseball team. So both teams are like in a positive direction and needing to win these games big time. So I'm excited. And Alex, I'm also excited to see the next week that we're going to get for Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, same. If it's anything close to what this past week was, we're in for a treat.
Well, that does it for our first ever edition of This Week in Ohtani News in our brand new studio. That also, Alex, does it for our Tuesday bonus edition episode. We got a lot about to happen before our Thursday show. Shohei's going to pitch. My brother's pitching tonight.
Yep.
A lot of good storylines out there. So Jared Walsh episode tomorrow. Angels first baseman Jared Walsh. And our Thursday show will be after that. And we got a lot to talk to for all of that. So
It's beautiful.
Look at this place.
It's so beautiful. Welcome
really,
to our new home.
There's a lot of bells and whistles. Shout out to Mace for the light show over here. Shout out to the directors and producers. There's a lot going on in here, but man, does it look great.
It does. And shout out to Rago for sitting in the corner staring at us the entire time.
That does it for this Tuesday bonus edition of Flippin Bats. Thank you all for listening. Really appreciate it. We're in this studio for the long haul now. Every episode will be in here, so make sure you keep watching. And you can watch every episode as well on YouTube at Flippin Bats Pod for all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to Flippin Bats Pod on all podcast platforms as well. And then maybe not all of them, whichever one you choose, or all of them. Make sure you're subscribed on all of them.
It's all
Spotify,
happening.
Apple, wherever you'd like. Thank you all for listening. Until Jared Walsh tomorrow, my friends, that does it. Peace.